My name is Jacob Walker.
And Jacob, you just wrote this book, Glacial Ice.
Yes.
How long ago did you write it?
I published it November 17th of last year. Wrote it for about a year before that, and probably about 5 years of planning before that. But
So it's a long work in progress, then that's kind of come to fruition for you.
Pretty much. There's a lot of research because I wanted to keep all of my mythology to be what's really out there. So you get some of these urban fantasy books and they just pull from everything, and then they just decide, oh, okay, we got werewolves, let's just make everything aware. And I wanted to have shapeshifters, but I wanted them to all be shapeshifters from real mythos. Not, so if it's not represented in an actual mythology that I can find, it's not going to be in my books. And then I come up with an explanation of how they became what they are. And that's how I've worked it out.
So tell us a little about Glacial Ice.
Okay, Glacial Ice is set in Salt Lake City. It's about a girl named Jasmine who grew up thinking she was just some normal girl, went to the University of Utah. In her third year, everything changes for her. She goes to a party, and somebody tries to take advantage of her. They slip her something in her drink. She freaks out. She loses it. She shifts into a leopard and kills him. After that, she's pulled in by the police, and they question her about the whole thing. They let her go because it was a cat that killed her. There's no way she could have done it. And then the supernatural council for the area pulls her in and says, "Look, you've put us all at risk. If you don't get your powers under control and learn how to shapeshift, and not kill people, we're going to put you to death because you're putting us all at risk." So with all that going on, things get worse when a serial killer fixates on her, starts hunting her for what she is and killing all of her new friends. So if she has any hope of getting back to her normal life, just being a student, she's got to deal with her newfound powers, find a way to coexist with the Supernatural Council, and stop a serial killer.
So why Salt Lake City? Why'd you pick?
Because one thing if you start doing research, one of the biggest things that authors always say in there when they're talking about what they write what you know. I've lived in a couple of other places, but I've lived in Utah most of my life, and so I decided rather than just throw a dart on the map and try and write about some place I didn't know, I wrote what I knew. So I have real sites in here, and that's so people reading it will like, hey, yeah, I know where Liberty Park is. I know where Pioneer Park is. I know where Red Iguana is. Stuff like that. And so far, I've had one complaint about that but most of the people who have read it from Utah love the fact that Utah is represented in the book.
Is it set in present time or
yes.
Is it past? Or?
Well, the story starts basically in 2010.
Okay.
So that's where it all starts, and because I'm kind of it's going to catch up to real time. Hopefully, my hope is to have some big events happen later on that are actually happening. So it'll diverge from our actual timeline at that point as it starts to surpass, get into later years beyond where we're at.
So this is the first of a series?
Yes.
How many are you planning?
I have 5 books planned with at least 5 novellas or short stories that go in between that follow sub-characters. And then when it's done, I plan on a prequel book that will follow one of the major characters who basically is older. And he's a half-vampire, a Dampier. And he's got more story than, that doesn't get touched on, his origins and that. And I want to have that as, after the other one's book, to be like a prequel book.
It's been pretty well received then by the people who've read it?
Biggest complaint I've had is people want the next book. They couldn't put it down, they read it too fast, and now they want the next book, and I can't write fast enough.
Well, that must make you feel good, though.
It's been almost universally positive reviews. Most of my sales have been ebooks. I have sold quite a few, books in person, handing them out and signing them. But most of my marketing, in fact, my original plan was just to do ebooks. It wasn't until people started asking me, well, I want a paper copy, I want a paper copy, I want a paper copy, that I actually looked into publishing it and producing it.
Was that surprising to you that people wanted to have an actual book to hold on to?
Not so much, but I just
It's the way the industry's go.
Because the industry is going to ebooks. It really is, and so that's where I expect to make most of my money, and that's where I am making most of my money. But I still, it makes sense. If I'm going to go out and promote the book, I might as well have copies of the book.
So if you're getting ebooks, you're probably Amazon, and is that your primary source? Or
my ebook is available. The Glacial Eyes is available through all major ebook sources. You can get it on iTunes, you can get it on Sony, you can get it on Kobo, you can get it on the Nook, you can get it on Smashwords, you can get it on Kindle. 90% of my sales are Kindle. It's just, that's where the market is. So.
If we want a hard copy, where do we pick that up from?
The best price, the best way to get it right now is Barnes & Noble is selling it for $10, which is cheaper than I can sell it for. So, they've got it for cheaper than I can sell it for.
BarnesandNoble.com?
Yeah, BarnesandNoble.com. I'm trying to get it into the stores.
Okay.
My first opportunity is probably going to be not until October, at which point I'll have 2 books. But there, I'm going to do an author palooza where they get all the local authors together and do book signing in October. And that's hopefully at that point, I can get it in there.
So your second book is coming out in October?
My plan is the end of the summer, so August or September. That's my personal deadline. We'll see how it works out.
Tell us, do you have a website? Do you have a email address? Or?
I have my fan page on Facebook. It's just Glacial Eyes on Facebook, so facebook.com/Glacial Eyes. And I talk about the current progress with my current novel or whatever novella I'm working on, and just talk about it and get feedback from my fans and that as to what they want to see next.
Who's publishing the physical copy?
I've published it through CreateSpace, which is a subsidiary of Amazon. But it gives me the best, distribution and the cheapest prices when I need to get it myself. So.
Very good. Well, again, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.